Greetings, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. I am the Angry Rhino. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. See on the screen, I'm looking at the event store. Yeah, it's time for one of these videos. Now, been about 10 days into the arc. We've asked for changes. We've asked for additions. We got a few things. I have been told that the Borg cube limit has been raised, which, I guess is a good thing. Doesn't sound that good to me, but if it is for you, then that's wonderful. This is something they added, this portal bucket with a bunch of lower deck officers. I love lower deck, but Mariner, Tendi, they're in transporter patterns. Don't waste your event store currency on this. You will get enough transporter patterns. The officers in the transporter patterns are sourced very well. It's great sourcing. So there's no need to waste event store currency on them. The rares here, like Rutherford, Boimler, Alonzo, Freeman, I don't see enough value in them to where they're the same price as the current officers, especially the rare officers, especially that one rare officer that a lot of us, most of us probably really want. Like, I'm not going to give you 2,000 event store credit for Brad Boimler. You can have one event store credit because he's a 2-year-old officer and he doesn't move the needle that much for you. He really doesn't. The needle moves, but not enough for this price. Then you got Carol Freeman and Dr. T'Ana. You know what they do. Carol Freeman is in the Wave faction store. It's pretty good sourcing if you can get enough Wave credits. The catch there. They are both epics. The Dr. T'Ana is not in there. But they're expensive, in my opinion. You get you can see the prices here. You know the prices for an epic officer in an event store, and they're high. I don't see the value there just because of the exchange rate. But, if it's between you not having them and you having them, and you say it's going to make some difference for you and make the game more enjoyable for you, then there is some value here. I just don't see the value in here. Even me getting 12 more shards and then tiering up Carol Freeman, I'm like, I don't see it. Mainly because I can get enough points from the wave defenses, even though I don't do them anymore because I'm just, I do 2 waves, I'm exhausted. Just getting old, I guess. Alright, let's get to the other stuff in the event store. Resources and materials. I don't see the value in there. Special currency, there's really only 2 that I think have value. I know people like their Disco Go-Go Juice. I know I'm stealing Rev's word there. That's your thing, fine. I feel like I get enough of that, even though I don't even use it. But I still feel like the sourcing is good enough, really, in my opinion. What I don't think has good sourcing elsewhere in the game, Proto Catalyst, Proto Matter, though, because I have the Ferengi Whip. Did I just say Ferengi Weep? You know what I mean. I do think the sourcing for Proto Matter is better than Catalyst. Catalyst, it's almost non-existent. Even with that extra forbidden tech that gives you a drip of this every day. It's it's still not enough. I need like 30,000 to go up a tier on a forbidden tech. I'm not getting 1,000 a day. I'm getting like 400. 400? I'm getting about 400 a day. So I do see value in here. Now, I'm not saying the exchange rate is good or anything. And that's not terrible, I guess. 150,000 event store credit for what is that, 1,300, 1,100, something like that. It's not bad. Plus, there's the added fact that where else are you getting it from? And I mean, I know people like their Syndicate XP. Is this a good enough exchange where you think there's use in it? I don't, just because you get to some of these higher Syndicate levels and it's, you want how much to go up a level? This isn't doing a whole lot for me. I mean, at most you can get, what, 70,000? That's it? Okay. It's fine. I mean, if that's what you want, then that's what you want. I mean, especially if like, maybe, let's say, a Syndicate Advancement event is going on. Is there added benefit because maybe you can get an extra few shards of whoever the hell is even in there, and I don't even care because I don't think it's that good. I mean, I'm doing it, but it's like I looked at the office and I'm like, ugh. But it is what it is, and I'm also pissed off that it took him so long. It's like, oh. It's like, you know that we're hanging on to our Battle Pass claims, so you're not bringing Syndicate Advancement out till 10 days into the arc. Bullshit. Cosmetics you should know by now. I don't. And cosmetics are fine and everything. It's just they're expensive for what they do for you, which they're just there. Ship refits. Nothing in here. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff is sourced elsewhere. I mean, especially like the cloaks now. I just think you're better off getting it from the faction stores or the refit refinery. Now, this Valdor refit and the Katinga refit and the what other dumbass ship, Kelvin refit. It does add reputation to your hostile kills. Not a whole lot, but, you know, for some of you, every little bit helps. And I don't know. I mean, how much is this? 375,000. I got that math right. Not sure the price is worth what you're getting, but if it sounds worth it to you, then okay. To me, it doesn't sound worth it. The only refit, at least the one I see in here, and yes, I probably have some other refits that are in here, and I mean, I have no idea what the hell the refits are in here because they won't allow me to know. The Cerrito refit is okay. How often do you use Cerrito? Could you use an extra 50% to the timer? Does that sound beneficial to you? If that's beneficial to you, then yeah, it can be worth it. Of course, at the same time, it costs 450,000 Fed Store credit. Are we getting that this month? Well, I mean, if you pay for it, you absolutely will. Free to play, are we getting 450,000? I don't know about that one. I have spent 209,000 already. So what's that? 237 total. 237,000. It's a little light. It really is. I'm trying to think, like, what else would even be in here? I mean, anything else that would be in here, probably has sourcing in the game because I don't buy refits, do I? Yeah, I don't buy the refits. Like the Stella ones, if the Stella ones are in here, there's events for that. So not a whole lot worthwhile in there. Ship parts. It's absolute bullshit that they have these Talios and this Vidar shit in here. I mean, this is for a second one. You get a first round of this shit free. This is for if you're a huge spender and you have 2 Talioses. Because you're only going to get the one for free. Well, then, if you want to tier up the second Talios, then you need to come in the event store. It's bullshit for 2 ways. Like, you're clogging up the event store, which apparently you say, as in people running this game, that you don't want to have so many claims in the event store. Well, you got how many here for this stupid-ass Talios? And if you are a spender and you bought a second Talios, shouldn't you just get the warp coils? Why do you have to spend event store currency on that? That's bullshit. It's bullshit. I mean, look at all that shit. What? And then the Franklin shit. First of all, the Franklin's obsolete. And I know I say this shit like every time I come in the event store, but I always click on the stupid buckets and it pisses me off. The Franklin's out. I mean, it's just obsolete. So you got the Franklin warp bullshit and then the Franklin A warp bullshit. It's just, it's bullshit. It shouldn't be in here. I mean, Fisha parts, Devore parts, do you want to... Well, the Fisha's in the Voyager refinery, so not useful here. Devore parts, honestly, it's almost better to just go to the ship blueprint part of the event store and get Fisha blueprints than to get Devore blueprints to max your Devore, because it's just not... There's no real benefit other than being able to make a Fisha from a fully tiered up Devore. Borg cube alloy bullshit things. Do you need that? I don't need that. Because they made 5 and Picard and was it Phlox? Made them to help the grind of the Borg cube. I don't think you really should spend event store currency on this, but that is just an opinion. Monavine, I don't think the exchange rate is very good. This is terrible. I mean, at least for me. Maybe for you, if you're a lower tier, maybe it looks a little better. I don't think this is very good. I need like 1,600. I got to spend 75,000 event store currency for one component on my Monavine. No. I'm not doing that. Why? Hell, I've almost maxed my Monavine somehow. How the hell? I mean, I don't know. And then these dumb Fisha interlock. Like, why can I not just have a second one? I really have to give you event store currency for this shit. I mean, unless you have 2 whips, having 2 Fishas doesn't do you that much good. So why can't I just have this, whatever, bunch of jackasses. I can't believe the plutonium shit's still in here. Does anybody even engage with that bullshit anymore? Duranium, what? Is that for the stupid ass sarcophagus? Like, why? Why is some of this shit in here? Titan, I can understand if you want to speed up your Titan progression. You all know I got my Titan a few months ago, which is several months later than a lot of people. I think it's okay. I mean, you have to do the daily activation and claim the thing, but I think that the progression of the Titan is all right. I'm up to like tier 7 or tier 8 or whatever, and I mean, going okay for me. So I don't see any value of that. Look, another Fisha warp interlock. Like, really? God damn. Cerrito parts are also in the Voyager refinery. So, I mean, what is it? Fisha, Cerrito, Amalgam, Franklin? Or in the Voyager refinery. It's something they were doing. Much better than Event Store. Alright, blueprints. I can't believe there are so many more faction ships in the Event Store than there are event ships. I mean, I keep saying event ships. Than specialty ships. Partly because I'm up to having G5 epics in my event store. Which is nice because what the hell level am I? 59? It's nice that, they're in here already. I can get a few before, I get to 60, but I don't. I got defection credit. I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm not sure as hell not going to waste event store credit on it. I'd love to tell you that getting the baby jellyfish is worth it for base defense, but sadly things change with that, and I don't think it's really worth it anymore. I mean, it's a cool little ship and everything, but it's just, it lost a lot of value. Amalgam, I mean, it's in Cosmic Cleanup. Do you want another Amalgam, or do you want to speed up the progression of Cosmic Cleanup? Some value in there. I just don't think there is, because there is sourcing outside to get outside of the event store. So let's more emphasis on event store only stuff, maybe. Sarcophagus is trash. I just don't think the North Star was ever worth it to me, in my opinion. Again, Devore, I just don't see the value in that anymore. Better off just getting Fisha blueprints. And whatever. Defiant, Mantis, Titan, they all have their own sourcing. Do you want to speed up the progression of that sourcing? I don't recommend buying a whole one, but supplementing that progression a little bit could help. Like, say you get 80 outside the event store, 20 from the event store for your 100. There's use there. Knocking a month-ish off of that progression, there's value there. Franklin's obsolete. Cerrito. I mean, there is that weekly event where you get 10 a week, so Vidar, Discovery, same thing as I was saying about, the Amalgam. It's in Cosmic Cleanup. Do you want to increase that progression? See, here's Fisha blueprints. You're only limited to 12. Why? I don't know. Why? But you can get half the Fisha from the event store here for less than 100,000 credits, right? Assuming my math is okay here. That's fine. I mean, it's not great, but it's also not that expensive. So there's value here. I mean, don't get Devore parts and don't get like Devore stuff. Just go right for the Fisha, I say. Because I did that. I got some Devore parts to, cross that checklist off or cross that item off the checklist. And that was the only value. Oh my God. Because there's nothing. Other than being able to fully scrap a Devore maxed. You don't have to be maxed. You have to be maxed tier, but only level 41. You can get 120 Fisha blueprints. Like, that's the only benefit. But again, you could just... Or you can get half the blueprints here and scrap a tier 11 Devore. And then there's your Fisha if you ain't got one and you want one. Modivine Prince made it a little easier for everybody to get it from the territory pools. I think it's a lot better price than, let's say, the Jellyfish. So I think you should go that route. But if you so choose to supplement that progression, it's perfectly okay. Meridian, rightly so, I was corrected several videos ago when I said every specialty ship had sourcing. Meridian is still that one ship, which is so odd. Like, why is the Meridian not even in Cosmic Cleanup? It's dumb. And it's not even that it's stupid. It's like, you're an asshole for not doing that. But again, that's an opinion. I have 2 Meridians, and no, I don't use them anymore. And I have said this. And even the second Meridian, I almost never use the second Meridian. Because, especially now with the nodes being so much bigger than they used to be, I see more value in using a faction miner and going for protected cargo. Usually people are like, okay, you're UPC, all right, I'll leave you alone. But the minute you go OPC, they're like, I want that. But a lot of people are like, look, you don't mess with UPC because, well, they're going to come mess with your UPC. So for me, there's value in that. I don't know how things work on your server, but maybe, I don't. It's tough to say. I say there's no value in the Meridian just because I don't use them anymore. Is it useful to you? Do you want another one? Do you want a first one? There's potential there, but I don't see a lot of potential. Stella, and yes, I've said this many times, but make sure people understand this. Get the free Stella from the Stella faction store first. Then get one from the event store. If you get one from the event store, the code is going to read that you already have one and then not give you a free one. And yes, it is useful to have 2 Stellas. One to just max and just stay there and do all the armadas with. And then your second one is your scrapper. That's when you'll max and scrap. So you can always have a max Stella to use for the armadas. Make sense? Voyager, I mean, I thought that the sourcing for the Voyager was good, so I say don't waste your event store currency on it, and Botany Bay is old and obsolete, but if you really want it, the sourcing was fine for the Botany Bay. So again, get that stuff elsewhere. Main event time. I mean, of course, right? Best for last. This is where I always see the value. Partly because they're the only thing that changes every event store. And it's usually officers from like the past 2 or 3 months. The ones that you looked at and you saw, maybe a few of these were meh, but usually there's that one that you really like and you really want. And maybe you did get her, maybe you didn't get her. And then we're talking about Nurse Chapel here. Maybe you want some more tiers on her. And because Nurse Chapel is the rare officer, reasonably priced. And you can see I already have enough shards to go to tier 2. Yeah, I spent 200,000 event store currency on her for the, what was that stupidest event? Whatever spending event store currency event, dumbass event. I forgot what the name of the event was. So, I mean, I don't know about her officer ability, but yeah, sure, I'd love to do some more isolated damage. I actually have, since I have unlocked her recently, I've found that I actually don't use her that much. Just because I don't have enough ship slots. You know? Which is annoying. So maybe don't go too crazy on Nurse Chapel because you're going to need to slot below deck, right? For me, I'm always running Hugh and I'm always running Torres because I want the critical hits and I want the hull breach for the extra critical damage. And because I got other people on the bridge like, say, a Janeway or a Data or a Kuron or New Riker because I want speed because some of this shit just takes too damn long. Now I need Paris below deck. So you start to run out of ship slots. I mean, that's 3 officers I have to have below deck. Again, I'm running out of ship slots. So I don't always use her. And then there's other officers, you know, like a Doctor or Troy for more critical damage. Not that Nurse Chapel can't be better than, let's say, Troy. I mean, if Troy only gives you 30% extra critical damage, could getting another 5 or 10% isolated cascade be more? I don't know. Something to look into. I guess maybe not go like crazy. Maybe get her to tier 2. Maybe tier 3, depending on how many event store credits you have. And maybe spend it on something else. Just to like diversify your shit. I know Phlox is epic, but his officer ability, it was meant to be only active in PvP, but they screwed it up and it's active in PvE. He's great against silent assholes. I think he's fantastic. I use New Picard, New Data, Phlox, and it's a great crew. So now I'm not going to tell you to go get him to tier 2 because yes, I have him at tier 2. I'm not saying use all your event store or get him up to tier 2, but you know, if you're sitting at like 88 of 100 like I was for Carol Freeman, getting another 12 shards has lots of value here with Phlox. And yes, increased efficiency on board cutting beam charge. There's use there. Phlox is good. He's just expensive because he's the epic. Hoshi Sato, sure, there's value here in Hoshi Sato. I don't know how much value, but there's some value here. I mean, do you want increased cargo size for another bridge officer? Honestly, you run out of bridge slot officers too. Or bridge slots for officers as well. Do you want increased gas mining? to a certain extent, I just wanted to round out the trio. I got ore and I got the gas, and I got the ore and the crystal. I want the gas too, just because OCD and shit, man. I want to complete the triangle. But whatever reason, they were like, nah, screw you, players. We're not going to let you have the rare. 2 months in a row they did that. A bunch of jackasses. And Banka, Sam Kirk, I don't know, man. You see I didn't unlock Mbenga. I don't know. I just don't like that it was the captain ability. It just seems like, who the hell is he sending with it? It just seems weird to be like, oh, let's put like new data there. Oh, let's go with Mbenga as captain and new data on the side. Like, it seems just a weird setup, man. You got all these strange new world officers, and you throw out Mbenga here, and you're not even going to put synergy with him. It's just weird, right? I mean, abilities are kind of nice, but as you can see, I need like 30 for each of them. I mean, it's like 360,000 event store credits just to unlock each one of them. Like, I mean, or I guess the two of them together. I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to spend the currency on that. I'll spend the currency elsewhere because I see more value to my game. You can take all the advice you want from me, but I don't exactly know your account. I don't know how you play the game. There's only so much I can do for you. You need to kind of take some of the shit I say, pick out the stuff that actually applies to you and throw the other shit away. So you really are going to have to make some of these decisions yourself. But for me, the most value here is Nurse Chapel, just because of how much more isolated damage you can do when you unlock her. Assuming that you can put her below deck. Can you? Sure. I mean, hell. What the hell crews was I saying? Like Janeway and New Data. Sure, I can put Beverly on the side for the mitigation so I don't have to use Paris below. And I forego the extra impulse, which is annoying, but I can, need more isolated cascade. Or maybe because you think you got Nurse Chapel below, you can take off New Data, put somebody else there, and maybe you can dual wield. Maybe dual wielding becomes much easier. Possibility there. And also think about it, like, say, what ship has a lot of crew slots below deck? Like a Voyager, when you get up there, you get a lot of crew slots. Talios, when you get that tiered up, it has a lot of crew slots. Like, I mean, a lot more than I'm used to with my G5 ships. I get like 3 below deck slots. Having all these below deck officers doesn't do me a whole lot of good because I ain't got slots. I wish I did, but I don't. Oh, do I have the wrong color on this thing? I might have the wrong color on my ring light. Just realized that. Oh well. Not that big a deal. Maybe you'll see me better, maybe you won't. We'll find out. Alright, so just to wrap this up here, there's really not a whole lot in the event store that I like. I mean, I think there's more shit that I hate than I like. Mostly because they're just so... They have whatever reasoning, they just seem to add so little of the new shit to the event store. Very slow to add the new shit. They have a process to add the officers, to change the officers out every event store, but they don't seem to want to do that with any of the other shit. Maybe you get a 1 and 2 things each event store, but they bring out 10 things a month. And that's really why I think the officers are where it's at. We can get sourcing for a lot of this other stuff outside the event store. Getting the officers, which are a huge part of your game, probably the thing that's going to help you the most. Maybe, potentially, special currency in the tier of Catalyst, because with the right forbidden technology, and let's say Metreon Warhead Cascade, something, that free epic one that I mean, I assume you all got it, right? Be very useful, especially if you get it up to the right tier. And it's giving you an extra, what am I getting? 16%? Extra 16% critical hit against hostiles? It's very useful. An extra hull and whatnot could be useful because, as far as special currencies go, something that has life. And that's why they're not sourcing too much of that forbidden tech stuff and other locations, because the forbidden tech stuff does have a longer life than some of this other stuff. But again, officers is really what I'm looking into. And Nurse Chapel has the greatest value here because of the impact that she can have for you and the price that she is. Very cheap. So comment below. Was this event store video a no-brainer? Of course, Nurse Chapel was going to be the best thing. It's going to be the most sought after, or it's just, that's what everybody was going to want, because that's where everybody was going to see the value, especially with this new Gorn loop and her being an isolated cascade, add more damage there. It's probably pretty obvious. And you watched this whole video by now. You probably see me do a couple event store videos. What is it, what, if anything, that I don't find value in that you really find value in the event store? Is there something in the refit tab, the ship part tab, the ship blueprint tab? Is there really something that you see the value in that maybe I should be reconsidering my take on it? Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I am the Angry Rhino. Shields up, Commanders.